godson. It's your actions, he ain't trying to hear you talk. None if 99 found, we still going for the lost one. Nothing is impossible to him, I do all things. If you ain't keeping laws, you get fired like ball franks. Trying to be a part of the elect when it all fades. Set high, we above them all, we ain't all same. Third watch up all night like a watchman. On my P's and Q's, I see sin and I stop that. If I don't get it right, then my head getting chopped back. Examining my flaws, I correct it and stop that. Repent.
Got me up all night. Got me up all night. Got me up all night. Wisdom got me up all night. 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 Wisdom got me up all night. 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 Wisdom got me up all night. 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 Wisdom got me up all night.
Got me up all night. Scriptures got me up all night. Got camp in the morning, I'ma give him all a warning. If I scoff or run his mouth, he getting cut, alright. Sight to the blind, come my light shine bright. Spending all night getting precepts right. Got both fists ready since Satan wanna fight. Think he got me on the ropes, but nah, not quite. Got the haters watching like Cinemax. I came out the world, I promise I ain't going back. Your pastor shook in the jiving, but we ain't into that. I'm in the Bible like a baby sipping Similac. You saying we ain't the chosen, but how you figure that? Every prophecy written, yeah, we fitting that. I learned Christ was black, didn't know how to act. Now these Christians mad, cause I'm out here giving facts. I'm getting used to the hate. Everybody mad, we rebuking the gates. Prophets paint a picture using every single scripture line upon line. Please chill, let me illustrate. Mind elevate every time I meditate. Seeking wisdom from the scriptures got me up late. Keep oil in my lamp, I ain't going reprobate. Keep my mind on the kingdom till I walk through the gates.
Got me up all night. Got me up all night. Got me up all night. Wisdom got me up all night. 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 Wisdom got me up all night. 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 Wisdom got me up all night. 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 Wisdom got me up all night.
To him every day. This is how I meditate. Every time I turn the page, it takes me to a different place. Fighting my flesh, I will conquer my sin. The Bible's like a GPS system. It led me right to myself. Better than medication. Helps out with fornication. I promise it's my prescription. Also it's my addiction. Take a dose of, I just take a dose of every day. Take a dose of Joshua 1 and 8. I meditate every day. Repent of all my sins, I pray. comes my way. Never blink out. I never blink out.
Meditating every day like I'm getting paid for it. Wisdom lay dormant, lean out on my own thoughts like a late mortgage. Faith come by hearing like a jury waiting for me. This the world's greatest story. Got our own schools like a bunch of Montessoris. Prayers light up the sky like Aurora Borealis. Boy oh boy, the chords in this chorus very gorgeous. Wait and see like it's Wake Forest. Pray for us, meditate vibes. Used to stay high, day and night. Now I'm saying say lies, say live V to these lies. I promise you these lines saving lives. Nah, I never play God. The crime rate rise if the mind stay demised. Watch time as it flies through the eyes of a scribe. I repent of pride. The old man died, but he tried to come alive, facing my Frankenstein. But I remain clay, made by the hands of the one with the say. Weaving through the word crochet till I find me a doorway to the throne of his grace. Still at home, still away, but
I meditate every day. Repent of all my sins, I pray. Fight everything that comes my way. And never blame God. I never blame God.
Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme. Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme. Precept and line, I'm breaking it down like a syllable. Miracles we do them time after time, proving that we are the spiritual. We be the pro, they the amateurs. Never surrender, we Spartacus. Warring from Purim to Hanukkah, cutting these heathen shoelaces and yarmulkes. Cut him up, cut him up, cut him up. Scuffles and muckers be running up, thinking that they gon' be sunning us. Never use guns, but we shut him up. Cut him up, cut him up, cut him up. Scuffles and muckers be running up. We be like who the next runner up. We teaching the people, no stopping us. Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme. Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme.
Shut your mouth, don't you talk. I'ma teach, he gon' read. Bring it out, I'ma break it down to the T. It goes line upon line. I got precepts, what you need. If you scoff, you a sip. Cut you up, watch you dip. You want meat, not sip milk. You can't handle what we give. Man, your brain gon' overload if you can't handle laws we give. This what cut like a sword. All this truth, can't ignore. All these prophets sit around me, they would break you down with joy.
Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme. Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme.
Need a gurney in a body bag form. Cut them obsession won't cease, causing these heathen to flee. You can tell by the hem of the deeds, Messiah prophet on the scene. We seeking the kingdom to be, your kingdom will become debris. We coming with fire to burn up these liars. Give them the precept to Jeremiah. Acting like demons don't dwell inside you. Any of these prophets know what's required. Ready for wartime, steady be ready in no time. Betcha my brother gon' call sign, hitting these coffins with clotheslines.
Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme. Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme.
I got a fully loaded armor bearer who gained his knowledge through the trial and error. Together we fought many wars, scripture seeping through the pores of all of the prophets that's casting down doctrines and doing the work of the Lord. These demons won't stop us, demons can't stop us when we all on one accord. Christ is king and we knowing that. Ain't no denying he coming back. Pull out the trumpet, we blowing that. We got the seed and we sowing that. I came up out of the world. Pray the Lord, I ain't going back. We was ordained to be prophets. That's how you know that we coming back.
Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme. Yeah, we bad. Prophets is back on the battlefield. Look at the swag. All of these heathens be mad at me. I'm ready to teach, but they talking too loud with the blasphemy. I never blaspheme, but my armor bearer gon' blaspheme.
You think you deep, not knowing one law. You think you deep, no, not at all. You think you deep, not knowing one law. You think you deep, no, not at all.
Oh, if you don't sit the hell down, try to bring a different doctrine and it fell down. Boy, I'm telling you it's obvious, the way you going opposite is so preposterous, so what you sell now? Precepts by the caseload. Imagination, your conversation is base low. You claim you deep and all you got was your face, bro. The righteous teach, but when they see us, you hate though. We see you see you try to cover though. The doctrine just a smoke screen, you pulling over folk. You hypocrites, you done started some trouble though. You never perfect, but want perfection from others though. Tell me please, how do they go? Well, they do that and they were left in the past, bro. You think you deep, but you as deep as a bath, bro. We so unrighteous than what you watch in the class, bro. Man, such a shame, what you think about it? We meditate and break your actions, all we read about it. Judas Cora told us indeed about it. You think you deep, but all you do is repeat about it. Once again, here's a lesson, no. The different doctrine is just an option you stretching for. I say it for the second time, for the record, though. You never perfect, but one perfection from others, though.
You think you deep, no, not knowing one law. You think you deep, no, not at all. You think you deep, not knowing one law. You think you deep, no, not at all.
You think you deep cause you living in Israel, not knowing that you are living a living hell under subjection to Binyat and Yahoo, under a spell cause some people are not you. You think you deep cause you told me that Hebrew means one that was up in the darkness now walks in the light. That's how I knew you were bugging, because you said yes when I asked you, well what if they're white, right? Your idle words will condemn you. All your ways you have trimmed too. You were at the forefront of building our nation and your works looking slim. Ooh. We had to go up into Ghana to rebuild the state of our people. We had to clean up your mess cause the way you did it was so evil. Taking up 5, 6, 7 wives, then leaving them destroying lives. Talking about you doing y'all's work, but all you saying is yeah. You think you deep when you using names, but don't know on his return he gon' change it. The Most High Kingdom, you think you've attained it, but you are really living in the land of strangers.
You think you deep? No. Not knowing one law? Yeah. You think you deep? No. No, not at all. Yeah. You think you deep? No. Not knowing one law?
Shalom, shalom. Welcome back to the Lion's Den radio shows. Radio.
Check. All praises. We back.
We are back. It's Sunday, 6 p.m.
On time it is.
Dot. So you know where you should be. You should be tuned in to the Lion's Den.
Mm-hmm. I hope a lot of our brothers and sisters from Eatonville tuned in. You know, we went out there yesterday. Nice event out there. They are celebrating the 132nd year of the incorporation of their village. Told them about the topic. A lot of them was interested, so hopefully they tuning in.
All right, so Eatonville, if you tuned in, we got a phone number if it's your first time tuning in to the Lion's Den radio show. We'll get that in a second. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Officer Kim Uwell, and to my left,
Officer Aaron.
Officer Yahaziel.
Officer Daniel.
And we here at the Lion's Den radio show, what's our motto? We do not ignore evil.
We seek to expose it.
All praises to the Most High God.
You gotta drop that bomb quicker than that, man.
That's right.
All
And
praise.
today, we are going to be exposing the evilness in America behind lewdness.
Right.
Damn.
Yes, lewdness.
Sound like you about to pull the skirt up on America.
Oh, we about to pull the skirt up on America. All right? Because a lot of our people have been caught up. A lot of us, before we repented, were caught up into the lewdness that America pushes.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and we're going to go into some of the forms of how America pushes lewdness and how it's affected us as the Israelites. And if this is your first time tuning in and you didn't know who the Israelites are, today they are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
That's right.
When you read in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, from verses 15 to 68, you will read the curses that have befallen the Israelites. Okay, so if you tuning in for the first time, you've been in a Christian church or another religion, or maybe you just don't know. You've never heard this.
Right.
Read Deuteronomy chapter 28. All right. So, first, we're going to go into some current news. Officer Daniel, what are we hitting first?
Message. Is that up? All right, so we have wife of former Marine to be deported to Mexico Friday after 20 years in U.S.
Dang.
Say what?
So if unless you've been hiding under a rock, President Trump is seeking to remove all brown skin immigrants.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got to bring that out. Because I remember growing up, Mino Moreno, papi. Okay.
Right. And if you have been watching or following the news after this past 2 years since Trump has been in office, he has made it clear that he's looking to remove our people out of this country. Yep, Lord of mercy. That's what a lot of them are saying as they walk out the country.
They're saying that thing in Spanish. How you say that?
Back into Mexico. That's what a lot of us are saying. So, who's it? I'm gonna read it. I'll read it.
No,
we gotta read it on deck.
We gotta read it. Come on, we gotta read it on deck. Let's bring it out.
Bruh. Orlando, Florida. The 16-year-old American daughter of a former Marine held back tears as long as she could Friday before her family was split in two.
All right, hold on a second. Reader, camp voice.
The 16-year-old American daughter of a former Marine held back tears as long as she could Friday before her family was split in two. Her mother, Alexandra Juarez, was finally leaving for Mexico rather than be sent off in handcuffs after exhausting all her options to stop her deportation.
So stop right there. So we see the daughter of an American 16-year-old American daughter of a former Marine.
Right.
Meaning that he was dodging bullets for this country.
The same country that says your wife gotta go.
Your wife gotta go. She gotta leave. After he probably dodged bullets. He may be injured in war, whatever the case would be. Like a lot of our people who go into the military for America, he's been through a lot probably, especially in the Marines. The Marines is one of the toughest corps in the military, right? Read on.
My mom is a good person. She's not a criminal, Pamela said, cursing at the immigration agency before her mother checked in for her flight from Orlando International Airport.
Good old Orlando.
Right. But look at what's heavy is what the daughter is saying. She's saying her mom is not a criminal. Why would she even make that statement? Because the so-called Hispanics have a bad rap because of Donald Trump, that they are criminals. But who's the real criminal in America? We all know your friendly neighborhood white man is the real criminal right here. You're a white man.
And can I pull one scripture to go along with this? Because what we're seeing is that the so-called Hispanics, right, the northern kingdom of Israel, they are going through the curses that are prophesied in the Bible in regards to them being in this country.
So what you're saying is the northern kingdom are Israelites.
The northern kingdom, the so-called Hispanics, right. Latinos, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, South Americans that have gone through the transatlantic through slavery here in this part of the land, you are the Israelites the Bible speaks of. So I'm gonna go to Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 1. Because right here in the scriptures, it proves that the things that you're going through right now was prophesied 2,000 years ago that would happen to you.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 5 and verse 1. Remember, O Lord, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens.
So originally, the so-called Mexicans, right? They were the original inhabitants of this land, but now their inhabitants is giving into aliens. Who is the aliens? The so-called white man. Esau, according to the Bible. Read on.
White man. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows.
Our mothers are as widows. So what are we talking about? Broken households. Broken households. So the Bible is prophesying that the so-called Hispanics will have broken households and aliens will inhabit their land.
You know, that's heavy because they turn around and call everybody else they claim is not from this country aliens. You got to get a resident alien card and all of that. That's crazy. And a white man is a true alien to this land, huh?
That's crazy. All right, so read on from there.
But you know what's crazy too? Scroll back up real quick. That last paragraph. It says, my mom is a good person. She's not a criminal. What we just brought out dealing with Deuteronomy 28 is we all as 12 tribes is criminal against the Lord. That's why the curse is poured upon us.
Right.
All praises. What's that? Captain Severus came down. He's teaching a class on that. Sin, breaking the law, you being identified as a criminal.
Right.
We all criminals, so that's what it is. We didn't sin against the white man. We sin against our God.
Right.
So I'm gonna back you up on that. Let's get Leviticus 26:14 and then get back into the into this article. That's a heavy point. We sinned against the Most High God, right?
Message.
And for that sin, there is a punishment.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 14. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant.
So now, we're dealing with Northern Kingdom right now, right? So I want to tie this together. Let's get 2nd Ezra. I want to tie this together because, again, we have to prove all things as the Bible says. And we have brothers and sisters out there that truly believe that Northern Kingdom are not the Israelites. So read verse 15 again.
Verse 15. And if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenants.
Right, so that ye will not do all my commandments. So now let's go to 2nd Ezra and read chapter 13, verse 40 to 42.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel amongst themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
Leave the multitude of who?
The multitude of the heathen.
Okay, so now, we know when we read the Bible, that generally when you read that word heathen, it's referring to the other nations, as it is in this case. Read on.
And go forth into a further country, where never mankind dwelt.
Now that's an important point right there. Where never mankind dwelt. Read on.
That they might there keep their statutes.
That they might what?
Keep their statutes.
So wait a minute. So when they got to this place where never mankind dwelt, that's where they would keep their statutes. Let's go back to Leviticus 26:15.
Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 15. And if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenants.
And when we break God's covenants, we're carried into what? Captivity.
Right.
Let's go back and finish that in verse 42.
Verse 42. That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Now, wait a minute. So, Northern Kingdom, the 10 tribes, it said they never kept the statutes in their own land, right? You can read that when you go back into the history after the split, okay? Let's go back now to Leviticus 26 and 16. Let's read 16 and 17.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 16. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror.
So now, this is terror. When you have a family split in two, as the article says, whose parent served the military of this same nation that you trust in.
Right.
Read.
Consumption and the burning egg that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart.
And cause what?
And cause sorrow of heart.
That's what we're reading about now. Right. Sorrow of heart, depression, anxiety. Read.
And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you.
And what will God do?
And I will set my face against you. And ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you.
That's the point here. They that hate you shall reign over you. That's why they don't hear our cries.
Nope. Right.
They don't hear our cries for justice. We've served your military.
Right.
So what? You're here illegally. Read on. And you know what's heavy about that is they'll use up our labor
Right.
until they don't need us anymore.
Exactly.
Read on.
And ye shall flee when none pursueth you.
All right.
Hey, that last part right there, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you, is pretty much what this article is going into, right? We're going to read on more about why this sister got deported, right? Read on.
Message.
Scroll down.
Scroll down.
I got it.
Go ahead, right there.
Alejandra and Tamo Juarez, a naturalized citizen who runs a roofing business, quietly raised Pamela and their 8-year-old daughter, Estela, in the central Florida town of Davenport until a 2013 traffic stop exposed her legal status.
So she got pulled over by the police, right? I don't know what transpired, right? But she was exposed of her non-natural status here in America over a traffic stop.
And look what it says. It says quietly raised. So these weren't people that was getting locked up.
Right.
Wasn't causing no ruckus in America. Wasn't doing anything illegal. They wasn't causing no trouble. But America said, hey, you got to go. Because they hate us, though. They hate us as a people.
Right. Read on.
Afterward, she regularly checked in with U.S. immigration and customs officials, which typically went after higher priority targets like people with criminal records. Timo didn't figure his vote for President Donald Trump would affect them personally. That was before the enforcement of Mr. Trump's zero-tolerance policy toward illegal immigrants.
Hey.
Go ahead.
He signed her death certificate.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, bring it out, officer.
No, go ahead.
Wait, read that. Timo didn't what?
Timo didn't figure his vote.
His what?
His vote.
His vote. Go ahead.
For President Donald Trump would affect them personally.
No, that's not going to affect me personally. But wait a minute. If the vote isn't going to affect you personally, why are you voting?
Right.
Right.
Especially after seeing when he was running, he was saying derogatory things about your own people.
Right.
The same Latin community. He's shooting paper towels at them.
Right.
But can I show you why he thought this?
Bring it out.
Give me Isaiah 28:15.
You're in the spirit.
Isaiah 28:15. This is why he voted for Trump. Because he's, like you said, why would you vote if you didn't expect anything to happen?
Right.
It's pointless.
And if you don't think it's personal, wives, one of the things you can't discuss at work is politics.
Right. So he thought his vote would count. But this is what it counted for. Read Isaiah 28:15.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death. And with hell are we at agreement.
He said, with hell we are at agreement. What was the hell? The gates of hell. The principalities, the powers of this world. Donald Trump. He said, if we make an agreement with him, what would happen?
When the overflowing scourge shall pass through.
When ICE comes to my house, read.
It shall not come unto us.
No, he's not going to take us down. He's not going to take us down because I voted for you.
Right.
I'm in agreement with you.
I served your country.
I served the country.
We're Americans.
Exactly. This is America. Read on.
For we have made lies our refuge.
You made voting your refuge. You thought that would save you. You thought voting for Donald Trump, the person that said clearly that he don't want you here, you thought if I'm in agreement with him, if he really likes me, he won't get rid of me.
Right.
Read on.
And under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
So they tried to hide themselves for the last 8 years quietly, but finally it came out and they said, hey, you need to go.
Right.
You need to get out of here.
That's why we try to show our people you can't hide from the Lord. You could try to hide from man all you want. His sword found you out.
Right.
His sword don't play, man.
All right, let's go ahead and finish that article.
Now the Juarez family will be divided in two. Estela will join her mother in Mexico after she gets settled, while Timo cares for Pamela and pays the bills.
Read that last. I just wanted one part.
Get to the meat.
Just read that. Yeah, read that paragraph.
Alejandra petitioned to become a citizen in 2001, but was rejected because she was accused of making a false statement at the border when she sought asylum in 1998.
Wow. Oh, hell. But I thought America was the place of second chances.
The American dream, right?
New beginnings.
I guess she couldn't run a 40.
Say what?
Go ahead.
Said her attorney, Richard Maney. Asked about her citizenship, she had told authorities she had been a student in Memphis, Tennessee for a short time. And border officials apparently thought she was falsely claiming to be an American citizen, the attorney said.
So now, wait a minute. You see that? It say they thought she was.
Right.
Damn.
She assimilated herself.
Right.
She was trying to assimilate herself to America. And then she's like, oh, you trying to be American? No, you ain't a real American.
Right.
You ain't a real American because you ain't got that paperwork yet. But this is America. You got something on that?
You know, it's funny because, you know, a lot of, especially the so-called white men, they sit up here and tell lies nonstop. And she figured I could get by the same way. It's a little white lie. It ain't going to mean nothing. They're going to hold that thing against you, man. You see, they tell you forget your history, forget your ancestors. But when it comes to theirs, nah, we ain't never going to forget. They're holding that over your head.
Hey, 13 years later, it came back to haunt her.
Right.
That is the curses right there.
Right.
So
that's crazy.
That belief in America, right? Now they're facing deportation, right? Keep reading.
U.S. Rep. Darren Soto, Florida, who couldn't get the votes in Congress for legislation to allow wars to remain, called her situation disgraceful. We're not going to give up, he told her with a hug at the airport.
That was a free feel, but go ahead, read on.
Right.
It's an absolute disgrace by the Trump administration to be deporting a patriotic spouse, Soto said.
You see that? Wait a minute. A patriotic spouse. Go ahead.
Her husband, Timo, served in the Marines while she was at home on the home front raising 2 young women. What justice does this serve? Alejandra ultimately decided to self-deport.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to stop. But it's heavy that she was at home raising children that are going to stay here. You understand? It's like she bred them to be here in America to serve America.
Right.
Isn't that, you know, now if they were so-called white people, wouldn't that be the model citizen, the model family?
Right.
Yes, it would. That's the American dream right there, supposedly.
Represent country.
I'm sorry.
The wife's raising the children.
I hope that family's listening. I just want 2 quick scriptures because now the children are here, right? And they seen the product of assimilation, basically, right? Somebody get Deuteronomy 23:6 because hopefully the children are listening. The husband is listening. We're the Israelites. We're under these curses, right? So this is what you got to teach these children going forward. Let me get Deuteronomy 23:6 and get me the law and voting right after that. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 6.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever.
Rest of your children's days, the rest of your days, do not seek America's peace or their prosperity. Do not seek that land of the free, home of the brave. You guys are the original brave lords. You understand that? That's why they called y'all Bariquan at one point. Do not seek their political system, none of that stuff, because you see what it paid off. You voted for the right for your wife to be deported. Now get the law in Deuteronomy 17, what to teach a child. Because right now, you're going to raise up your avenger. You're going to teach those children correctly from there on. Read that real quick. Deuteronomy 17. Come on, where you at?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose.
So the person you're supposed to set over you as your leader is who the Lord chooses. Like we read in our scriptures, we got Moses, right? We got Joshua, right? We got Jesus the Christ, the black Messiah he set up over us, right?
That's right.
Go ahead.
One from among thy brethren.
From among your what?
From among thy brethren.
It has to be your own nation. Only your own people understand what you're going through. Not a heathen. Not the other nations. Read.
Shall thou set king over thee.
Come on.
Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
So this is what you got to teach those young daughters that you got going forward. They should not seek the peace or prosperity. When they turn 18 and they come knock on your door, you're a registered voter, say, hell no. That's what you should tell them and bring out the scripture to provide that.
You know what's heavy about that is that go back, read that law again in Deuteronomy 23:6, and then I want you to get Ezra chapter 9 verse 12. I want to explain something to our listeners. Go ahead, read that.
Deuteronomy 23 and verse 6. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever.
Mm-hmm. So now, let's go to Ezra chapter 9, verse 12. Because during this time, we were returning back from captivity again. Right? Why? Because we mingled with the heathen. We wanted to assimilate with the heathen, right? So now, Ezra expounds on that law.
Ezra chapter 9 and verse 12. Now therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons. Neither.
Wait a minute. Actually, jump up to verse 9. Let's start at verse 10.
Ezra chapter 9 and verse 10. And now, O our God, what shall we say after this?
So now, they're in a position, Lord, why are we in this condition right now, right? Go ahead.
For we have forsaken thy commandments.
That's what we have to come back to understanding. As Israelites here, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are not an American.
Right.
Okay? We are two manner of people. We are not the same people that came in and settled this land by stealing and devouring the people that were here.
Exactly.
Right? And we trying to assimilate to their ways. Read on.
Which thou hast commanded by thy servants the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land, with the filthiness of the people of the land.
So before we were given our homeland, there were people that were there initially, and this is what Ezra is recounting. The what? Read that part again. The land.
The land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land, with the filthiness of the people of the land, with their abominations, which have filled it from one end to another.
Which we're going to go into more in this show. Go ahead.
To another with their uncleanness. Now therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth.
That's what you brought out in the law. Neither seek their peace or their wealth. Go ahead.
Forever.
Why?
That ye may be strong.
That you may be what?
That ye may be strong.
That you may be able to defend yourselves.
Right.
Right? Because here in America and scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, one of the curses is we wouldn't have any strength. Yep. We wouldn't have any strength against our enemies. Read on.
And eat the good of the land. And leave it for an inheritance to your children forever.
This is why during that time period, the Northern Kingdom came over on this side of the earth to keep the laws that they never kept at home.
Message. All praise.
All right. So let's go to that next article. Oh, you got something? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this is going to sum it up right here. The last paragraph, Alejandra
ultimately decided to self-deport.
Do what?
To self-deport.
She decided to self-deport. Why? Because she had to flee when no man pursued it. She was coming, that scourge was coming, but she said, you know what? Let me just run and leave. Let me just get out of here. Read.
To Mexico.
Say what?
Rather than turn herself in to be detained and then deported.
So that's the strength. Because she had no strength to stop this, so she's like, you know what? The best thing for me to do right now is just run.
Wait a minute. No, keep reading that. Yeah, keep reading that.
Yucatan caught your eye.
Yeah.
After 20 years in the United States, she no longer has family or friends in the country. So she chose Merida, a city in the Yucatan where a small community of deported military spouses might help her.
She ran to the city of refuge.
Wow.
Bring it out.
and it says, so she's not the only one.
No.
Because it says, it's a small community of deported military spouses.
Hey.
So there's other people just like her in the same
her.
situation. This is not unique.
And ask yourself, too, if the so-called white man really had our best interests at heart, where are all of the good old white folks fighting on behalf of this sister to make sure she can get rights to stay here?
I'm going to tell you where they at. They're having a vigil. We're going to pray for you.
That's right.
Right.
Oh, hell.
In the botanical.
All right, let's get that next article. Wow. So there was a small community where this has happened over and over again.
Right.
Where she can feel at home, where other sisters can support her because they've gone through the same thing.
Wow.
They made no account of our labors.
Right.
Together.
Hey, scroll up. Up.
Mm-hmm.
It says cops wrongly claim bird poop was cocaine in arrest of Georgia Southern quarterback.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. Shit, you gotta bro that one for real.
Yeah. How do you? Wait, you gotta read. You gotta read that again.
Cops wrongly claim that bird poop was cocaine in arrest of Georgia Southern quarterback.
Okay. Scroll down. And let her read it.
What they do? Take their finger and taste it?
Yeah.
Hey, that 40.
I watch movies.
Hey.
I'm just saying.
They do that though.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
They do that.
y'all seen Scarface, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right.
I don't know.
Cocaine charges and a team suspension for Georgia Southern quarterback Shea Wirtz were dropped Friday when lab tests confirmed what Wirtz said when he was arrested. The white substance on his car was bird poop, not cocaine.
Now you know what the problem is here?
Dang.
That he did not wash his car.
Nope.
Go ahead, read on.
Wirtz was pulled over on July 31st and charged with speeding and cocaine possession, despite the extreme implausibility of powder cocaine just sitting comfortably on the hood of a car going 80 miles per hour. Police and media outlets acted like it was Wirtz who had the ridiculous story, not the cops who confused bird poop and cocaine. Headlines written mostly by idiots took the cocaine theory at face value. As of Friday afternoon, few retractions have been made.
You know what that is, right? Y'all bywords and proverbs.
Look at this.
Black man in a sports car speeding down the lane, he got to be high and drunk. Let's throw on the lights and sirens. I mean, how many so-called white men have actually done that with the cocaine in the car?
Right.
And that still don't come out.
Cocaine on their nose.
On it, bruh, this is crazy.
Hey, but you know what's funny? Just like the other article we just read, it all starts from a traffic stop.
Yes, it does.
It all starts from the traffic. That's the beginning of sorrows right there.
Yeah, it is. You know what's funny? Correct me if I'm wrong. The Bible talks about that, doesn't it?
Yes.
You got that?
You already
I know you got that ready. Bring that thing out, man.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 66.
Come on.
Because this is what happens to our people all the time. This brother, you can't tell me in a million years anybody on this planet would think they would get pulled over for something like this. But God said, you're the Israelites. You have broke the commandments. Therefore, punishment is coming upon you. So let's read it.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. And thou shalt fear day and night.
This brother, I'm sure, was afraid as hell. Because he like, why am I getting pulled over? My license is good. I ain't got no drugs in the car. And then what happens? The so-called white man says, hey, we found cocaine. What is this white substance on the front of your car? You know bird poop. Anybody that has ever owned a car knows what bird poop looks like.
Wow.
You telling me these officers didn't know that was bird poop?
You know why they didn't know, right?
Why didn't they?
Hey. I ain't gonna be a false witness. You can put it together.
Hey, it says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear. Fear. You were in fear because you had bird poop on your car.
Wow.
You got pulled over. Read on.
And shall have none assurance of thy life.
Because I'm sure this brother has seen the news, heard of all the stories of brothers and sisters getting pulled over by the cops, and how does it end a lot of times? Somebody getting in handcuffs or worse, shot and killed.
Hey, I want to play that video. Can we pull that video up that's attached to the article? It says it was a link right there. You scroll past it.
There you go. Scroll back down. Keep on going. Yep.
The irony, too, is that he's the quarterback. And just like the brother that served in the military thought that he had some type of level of respect with the United States, I'm sure this young man thought the same thing. I'm the quarterback for Georgia Southern.
You can be in the military.
Right.
You can be playing for their sports franchise. You're still a Negro.
No,
all right, let's play that. Is this a picture? Okay, there should be
there's a
video attached to it.
Go back out. Just go back out. Scroll down.
Scroll that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling. No.
Then they probably took the video down.
Okay, so basically, the brother got pulled over, and he did end up getting released. And all praise to the Most High, he didn't get killed.
Right.
But after they ran tests, they figured out that it really was bird poop, as he said. All right.
Wow.
So these are the things that are happening to our people here in America. You know, we go through these stories to show our people, the Israelites, the so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, the things that happen to us. The things that happen to us, okay, on a regular basis. You got the video? All right, there we go. These things are not happening to all the other nations of people. All right, let's go ahead and play that. Now the brother's being cooperative. You know the saying. This is for our protection and yours. You know,
right?
While we test the cocaine.
What's the white stuff on the front of your hood, man? Bird shit. Bird shit? Yeah. That ain't bird shit.
That don't happen. Look at
I promise you that's bird doo-doo.
I promise you it's not, though.
I swear to God that's bird doo-doo.
I swear to God it's not, because I just tested it and that turned pink.
You can see it on the windshield.
That's not bird poop.
I swear to God that's bird doo-doo.
That's not bird poop.
I swear to God.
Wait a second. Rewind a little bit. I thought I heard somebody say I just tested it.
Right.
Yes.
And it turned pink.
Right.
And you know what the protocol is.
Yeah, because with narcotics cops, they usually do have things on the field where they can test.
Hey, the bird was sniffing
If I'm
coke,
not mistaken, it turns blue when it comes with certain
I don't know,
drugs.
but I want to hear what he said again, because that's what it sounds like.
God, that's bird doo-doo.
I swear to God it's not, because I just tested it and that turned pink.
He just said he just tested and it turned pink. So obviously that's not a color that's supposed to turn if it is in fact amphetamines.
Right. Go ahead.
You can see it on the windshield.
That's not bird poop.
I swear to God that's bird.
Cocaine now sticks to your windshield.
Apparently so.
According to the police in Georgia. Go ahead.
That's not bird poop.
I swear to God.
That's a lot of bird shit, man.
I tried to clean it last night at the gas station.
I can still wipe it off.
It's bird doo-doo.
All right. Okay. All right.
Hold on a second. He just said I can still wipe it off. Now, anybody that has a car has probably cleaned that off before, right?
Right.
That's not a powdery substance.
Exactly. That's what I was going to If you had to wipe it off, it's probably not powder. Dang.
Go ahead, play it.
You got going on in your life or whatever, but that's a field test kit. It's distributed to us by the state. I mean, if it turns pink or blue, that means it's positive for cocaine. It don't just turn positive out of nowhere.
Shit.
That's not bird shit. Okay.
I swear to God.
It looks.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop. You know what that was right there? They tried to make him admit guilt.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the same thing when you hear about the Central Park 5 and stuff. They try to make you admit guilt. See, we tested it already. Oh, we got your DNA already.
Right.
We got this already. And they're like, well, I guess I did it. I'm gonna get it off, right? You're just gonna give me a slap on the wrist and I'm going, right? If I just admit this is exactly what they try to get him to do.
Go ahead.
It's nothing like burp poop, man. We know what burp poop looks like. Burp poop.
Can I tell you something? That's bird shit. I pulled over last night to clean it off my car and it didn't come off with the little thing that the clean the windshield with.
Bird poop, man.
It just spread it. Yeah, I mean it was a lot of bird.
It's like in spots, like
all over. You can still see it in the driver's side little thing down by the hood. That's bird doo-doo.
It's all the way across your car.
Okay. All right. We the end point is he did end up getting off, right? Now I want to read something. Give me Psalms 58 and 3 through 5. And then I want you to pull up the next article.
The book of Psalms, 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
Can we get the precept to explain to our people who the wicked that the Most High God is warning us about really is?
The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 2. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness.
The what?
The border of wickedness.
That's the wicked. Go ahead.
And the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
And the people whom God hates forever. Let's go back. Psalm 58 and 3.
Psalm 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
So that's Esau, the so-called white man. Go ahead.
White man. They go astray as soon as they be born. Speaking lies.
You know what the lie they were speaking? That's cocaine, bruh. That's cocaine. Right? Go ahead.
Their poison is like the poison of a serpent.
And I got to say this. You know what's so crazy about that is common sense tells you that's bird poop, right? But they're going to use their science, right? That a lot of our people trust in.
Right.
To say, no, bruh, that's cocaine.
Wow.
Read on.
They are like the deaf adder.
They're like what?
The deaf adder. That stoppeth her ear.
So now, the brother is like, that is not cocaine. It's bird poop. I'm not trying to hear it.
You know,
they were not trying to hear
You know,
it.
you gotta explain to them. I don't know if y'all noticed, an adder doesn't even have ears at all. So there's emphasis being put on how deaf they are. Like, come on, man.
They're not gonna hear your pleas. Go ahead.
Which will not hearken to the voice of charmers.
That's what it is right there. They are not going to listen to the voice of charmers. He's trying to get out of a potentially life-threatening situation because any of us know when you get pulled over by the police as Israelites, it's a potential life-threatening situation.
Right.
Go ahead.
Charming never so wisely.
So all praises to the Most High. He spared the brother in this instance. And the brother was able to walk away with his life. Now, last article before we get into the show, but I want to preface this by saying this article is a segue into the show. And if you've got young children for the rest of the show, you may want to remove them from the room.
Hide your kids.
Hide your kids because we are going into the lewdness of America.
After the show, you might have to hide your kids from some other things too.
Maybe some of the things in your own home.
Bring it out.
All right. Let's read that article.
It says Charleston teacher charged after blackmailing student into sleeping with her. Scroll down.
No, wait. I want our listening audience or the ones that can view this. I want them to be able to see the picture.
Look at this. Somebody come look.
I know we got a little delay, but it says, wait a minute. Scroll that back up. It says Charleston. Is that Charleston, South Carolina?
I believe so.
Okay. Teacher charged after blackmailing student into sleeping with her. Now, this is the problem. Many young men, you junior high, you high school, have fantasies of teachers.
Yeah, willing participant.
Right. Willing participant. She had to blackmail the brother.
Dang.
Go ahead, read on.
It said, throughout one's own career, through grade school, one is bound to meet one or two teachers that they don't exactly see eye to eye with. It's pure statistics, really. Throughout those 12 or so years in school, students are faced with a parade of differing personalities and teaching styles.
Scroll down, because I don't want to take too much time on this. Read that part. A competent teacher.
A competent teacher.
Go ahead.
28-year-old math teacher Jennifer Olahir Arrow was not what you might consider anyone's favorite teacher.
That's why she had to blackmail him.
Exactly.
This had little to do with her teaching style. By all accounts, Arrow was a competent teacher. She had a clean disciplinary record with her school and even received several teaching awards. But the married mother of one had a dark secret.
Scroll down. Keep going. Just keep scrolling. All right. Go. Dang. Stop right there. John's
math teacher.
So John is the subject.
Right.
All right. He's the young man that didn't see eye to eye with the teacher. Go ahead.
John's math teacher was attracted to him. It was not just a fleeting desire to admire him. However, Miss Arrow was sexually attracted to her student. Despite the fact that she was married, she seemed hell-bent on the two of them entering into some sort of sexual relationship.
You see that? It's like she's saying hell-bent like, hey.
Hell no. One way or the other.
Yeah.
Right.
She gonna take it, right?
In time, her minor flirtations became less ambiguous and more overt, and for John, uncomfortable.
I wonder how she flirted.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
The teacher would pull him aside to talk to him about sex before class. During class, she makes sexual advances at him. When class ended, she picked the conversation right back up where they left off. John was no fool. This was math class after all, and he could put 2 and 2 together. But
hey, yeah, we're gonna leave that alone.
Right.
But what was he supposed to do about it?
Now, I want y'all to see the picture. This probably made John uncomfortable. I ain't supposed to be seeing my teacher like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, scroll up.
But you know who it should have really made uncomfortable? Said she married, right?
Right.
He let her come out the house like that?
Exactly.
She may have snuck out the house like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's true. Very good point. Go ahead.
Eventually, Arrow's constant flirting became too much for the hormonal student to resist. By November, she had managed to coerce him into having sex with her. Then again in December, they continued to do it several more times in different places. They did it in the school, in her car, and even at her home with the teachers.
Wait a minute.
Oh, hell no.
It's not safe to send your children to school.
Right.
I'm just going to make it plain.
You know where John was on lunchtime.
Goodness. Go ahead.
They did it in the school, in her car, and even at her home with the teacher's 10-month-old baby asleep nearby.
That's what I'm saying, man. Hey, if old boy don't understand what's going on, man.
Wow.
I don't know.
All right.
Something ain't right.
Let's go. Wait.
Stern refusal.
No means no.
Stern
that's crafty, boy.
She said no means on.
Yeah.
John soon had enough of the tryst. Despite what his body seemed to want, he felt exceptionally uncomfortable with the random encounters. Unfortunately for him, Arrow was not about to lose out on her side piece of a student.
Damn.
That young stallion, huh?
Bruh. Dang. Finally, John put his foot down. He told her that he wasn't going to do that sort of thing anymore. She didn't like that, not one bit.
All right, let's scroll down. Go down. Scroll down. Keep going. Wait a minute.
Wow.
Go ahead, read that.
Part of what soured John on the whole thing, besides the guilt, of course, was the fact that Arrow's sexual advances had become so direct, so public, and so obvious that everyone seemed to know about them. Even his classmates seemed to know that he was her personal boy toy. Worse yet, It seemed as though his other teachers knew about the affair as well.
Okay, so now get the video. Get the video. You know, this does sometimes lead to these students, these young men having. These women can destroy them.
Yep.
Right.
They can destroy them sexually and emotionally because she's a cougar.
Yep.
Right.
She proud. She preyed on him, you know, and then how a lot of times they lose trust.
Yeah,
women.
and then that's his expectation of an actual relationship.
Right.
You know, sister don't put out, then I ain't gonna deal with you. You know, what's crazy about it is other adults pretty much knew. He's telling you it's live and direct. That's what I was saying. A husband got to know at some point. You know, people gossiping, and nobody corrected that.
So we're gonna say it one more time. Remove the children, all right? Because we're gonna watch a video clip of a comedian that talked about this whole situation before. All right, let's go ahead and play that.
How you say it?
Parental advisory.
No. Parental discretion
is
advised.
Yes. All right, go ahead.
Shout Factory TV, changing the channel.
When I went to school, I gave the teacher an apple. She accepted it. Teacher don't want no goddamn apple. Teacher's a freak now. An apple, nigga. I want some dick, nigga. Can you screw, nigga? You know math, you got 9 inches, nigga. Get over here, move your ass, nigga. The teacher's a freak now. Teacher, I want a baby. Can you make a baby, nigga? I want 2 babies. Now, some of you quiet and scared like I'm making this up. You knew it about that white woman screwing that 14-year-old boy. Y'all ought to stop being naive like it's me. And then no white women can get crazy. White lady, we know you can get crazy, so we're going to forgive you. Now, you can't go do nothing with him. We're going to let you go now. It wasn't a week. She was up in front of the house giving him head. A freak.
Now he said that about the white woman, the white teachers, because we know, and truthfully, you can go online and you can look this up. This is so common in America that it's not even. A lot of times it's not even newsworthy anymore.
This is America.
But the crazy thing is that now, what's common amongst the so-called white woman doing this, but the black woman is doing this, and the Most High is going to make sure that she's exposed.
Right. Because that's really real quick. Can you just get one quick scripture before we move on? Sirach 26:9. Because I still can't get over the fact that nobody realizes. Because we all know, especially with a sister, she gonna put on new perfume. She gonna start getting her hair done differently because the husband at home, he never pays attention to that for some reason. But everybody else sees what's going on. You got somebody looking at you? You got somebody interested? Somebody over there kindling that fire, right? And this is what we gotta understand. Read that real quick.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
The whoredom.
The what?
The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids.
Because she sent old boy a picture where she looked like she had on her little sister's shorts, for crying out loud.
Wow.
Are you trying to tell me the neighbor wasn't outside to say, hey, John, check it out, man. I seen your wife outside earlier.
That was Miss Parker.
Yeah, Miss Parker. Oh, God. I forgot about that. Hey, Miss Parker. You trying to tell me even the faculty that seen what was going on, he said it was live and direct. Like she just coming up like this is my boo thing. And nobody saw a problem with that. Nobody even called 911.
It was known amongst his peers,
right,
that he's knocking that down.
Right. Oh, we know how John getting straight A's. Everybody was John's friends. That's crazy.
He can't even put 2 to 2 together.
Right.
Hey, this is why you got to teach your kids God's commandments, man. Because we got to teach our kids sex ed for real so they can understand what to look for and what to run away from.
Right.
Bring it out.
You know what? And we're supposed to be teaching this to our children, right?
Yep.
Get Deuteronomy 23:17. Deuteronomy 23:17.
The book of Deuteronomy.
Bring it out.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23 and verse 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
So Whoredom is not accepted in the eyes of the Most High God for Israelites.
Nope.
Remember what we read earlier. The nations that the Most High God, whose land he gave us, this was common amongst them.
Right.
These practices, and we'll read as we go on with the show, in Leviticus 18, it's going to be reiterated for all our brothers and sisters that want to be Egyptians, that this was common in Egypt, right? These practices are common amongst the heathen. But God said that you Israelites, these are not the practices that you are supposed to be keeping. All right? So let's take a quick commercial break. You got something? Bring it out.
Just real quick, but this is part of that whole LGBTQ movement, right? Because they talk about love is love, and you can love anything. You can love is love. It doesn't matter who you love, what age you love, what sex you love, what animal you love. It's
right.
Love is love, and this is what's that's why it's now so more prevalent, because you would hear that one time 20 years ago, but man, that was horrible. But now it's like every month, every week, it's the same case over and over again.
This is America. It's becoming acceptable.
Right.
Okay.
And we'll come back.
All right. So let's go ahead and roll that commercial. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and get into the meat of the show, America, the lewdness of America. All right.
Iuic, watch and read. Iuic, watch and read.
I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. As the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of these fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice. And there shall be one fold, and one shepherd. Therefore doth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I may take it again. No man taketh it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father.
Shalom Israel, this is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy the 20th chapter. Here in Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom.
All right. We are back.
That's right.
You are back. Tuned in to the Lion's Den radio show. And if we haven't put out the phone number as of yet, Officer Yahaziel?
You can reach us at 407-545-4624. Call in with your question or comments.
So, we are back, Lion's Den radio show about the lewdness of America, where we do not ignore evil.
We seek to expose it.
And we are going full speed ahead on the lewdness of America.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's first get a couple of definitions. All right. Let's read that. Let's read that, bro.
Lewd, crude and offensive in a sexual way.
You see that? Lewdness is crude and offensive in a sexual way. Go ahead, let's read some of the synonyms for that thing.
Synonyms: vulgar, crude, smutty, dirty, filthy, obscene, pornographic, coarse, tasteless.
Tasteless. Go ahead.
Indecorous, indelicate, unseemly, indecent, salacious, gross.
Gross. I think somebody posted that earlier in the comments. Read on.
Disgusting, sordid, low, foul, vile, rude, racy,
risque.
Yeah,
you know, that's one of those, they try to clean it up using words like risque. Like, you know, when
Trying
they say something
like
sexy.
Yep, there you go.
Like those shorts that she was wearing, she probably thought that was sexy. Go ahead, officer.
What's funny is, read right underneath the definition.
Oh, hey, you in the spirit.
Yeah.
You in the spirit. I was finna say
read that, please.
She began to gyrate to the music and sing a lewd song.
She began to twerk to your typical rap song.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Because gyrate is going into moving in a circular motion. So they go into like whining, twerking, all of that.
You said whining. You know Benjamin know all about that, right? It's called daggering.
So
that's what it's called.
The so-called white man knows women, when you dance like that, it is lewd. It is lewd. It is not something that is acceptable.
Nope.
Go ahead, read on. Let's finish those.
Naughty, wicked, earthy, erotic, sexy.
Hey, you skipped a word, man.
So wait a minute. Sexy is actually lewd.
Right.
There you go. You said it.
And wicked should have been the first synonym up there, but Esau crafty. They had to hide it.
What's between wicked and earthly?
Arousing.
Arousing. Because you know we go to camp, we try to bring out to our people about dressing modestly and things like that. What does it do? It arouses a young man or a young woman in this American society.
Hey, I had to look up that word indecorous. I was like, that's not a normal word for me. But it says conflicting with accepted standards of good conduct or good taste. So that's out of a good taste or good conduct.
You know what that means, right? You got no class. That's what that means.
Bruh. Damn. Read on.
Earthy, erotic, sexy, suggestive, titillating, spicy, bawdy.
Spicy. What is this, the Spice Girls?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, the lewd girls.
Right. Wow. Hey. You see how Esau crafty? They know the Bible too, because they say earthy, meaning carnal. Carnal.
Yes. Go ahead.
Baldy, ribald, raw, taboo, explicit, near the bone, near the knuckle, blue, raunchy, X-rated.
X-rated. So when you go to those XXX movies, you know that's extra lewd, right?
Well, nowadays rated R is X-rated.
Go ahead.
Nudge, nudge. Porno.
Porno, which a lot of our people have been prone to suffer from pornography. We know, and
Right.
I didn't bring it up to the statistics today, but in the Christian church, there was an article I read before that when they have conventions where a large number of them gather and they go to hotels,
Right.
that the pornography that's ordered at the hotels goes up.
At a Christian event.
At Christian events. This is no lie. You can look it up yourself.
That sounds like a 55 and older community.
Go ahead.
Euphemistic. Adult. A lewd limerick.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's basically like a lewd jingle or song.
Okay, so now a lot of times, I just want to point out before we go to the next one, a couple of the words that we like to use. Our sisters and a lot of times like to dress sexy, you know. Before they was repented,
right?
You know, they'd like to dress sexy, and we liked the thing, right? But that was lewd and lascivious behavior.
Right. Spicy. They always say, spice it up, girl. Spice it up. Change it up.
Right.
Yeah, it was suggestive. It was bringing not the right attention, unwanted attention, but attention nonetheless.
Right.
That's how they figured they get it.
I didn't even catch this the first time. It says indelicate. Indelicate, because our sisters are supposed to be delicate, meaning dressing a certain way. Princesses. A princess is delicate.
Tenderfoot.
Right.
A sister that's wearing lewd clothing, she's indelicate.
Right. Wow. Okay, let's pull up the next one. So as we get into the lewdness of America, this is actually, America's supposed to be a Christian nation, right? Isn't that what they said? They was founded on Christian morals. But this is actually what America pushes.
Bruh.
Okay, read that top.
Nudity and public decency laws in America.
Okay. Read on.
In recent years, incidences of public nudity have increased.
Oh, hell no.
In some instances, this is innocent fun.
Innocent fun. Okay, showing off your body is innocent fun. Go ahead.
This is America.
Like ritual moonings in Orange County, California, and worldwide naked bike riding events.
The hell is this?
Whoa.
You serious?
Ritual mooning.
I know they call it a crotch rocket, but that's taking it to a whole nother level.
Ritual mooning. You know, hey, that stuff that's tied a lot of times to the fraternities.
I was just going to say that.
Right?
I was just going to say it because in college, that's what they push. In those fraternities, those sororities, streaking.
Right.
They have their little games that they put naked beer pong. They do all of these. Yes, yeah, I know. They have all these little things that they do.
I don't even want to know what that is, but go ahead.
I missed out. I ain't go to college. All praise to the Most High.
All praises.
In other instances, it may be less innocent, like those who expose themselves for sexual gratification against the will of others.
Against the will of others. Go ahead.
And of course, somewhere in the middle exist things like the infamous Girls Gone Wild videos.
Wow.
Or the public flashing at events like Mardi Gras, concerts, or motorcycle events.
Now, I want you to see the wickedness of Esau. It says somewhere in the middle, like in the gray area.
Right.
But I remember, what was it, like a year or two now ago when what's the running back?
Oh, you in the spirit, Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
That was. I was just gonna say that too.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he got in trouble. Right now, he's trying to get a new contract. But the so-called white man, Jerry Jones, is holding that against him because he's known as a troublemaker because he was on a party boat.
Hey, see if y'all
and
can pull that
pulled up the shirt of a sister. I think she was a North.
No, it wasn't no sister.
It wasn't.
I don't think it was a sister.
Hey, white girl, whoever it was. And she flashed herself. She flashed the whole crowd. And he was right there.
You know what that sound like? What was that? Justin Timberlake with Janet Jackson?
Right.
Yeah, they call that a wardrobe malfunction.
Right.
Right.
And another thing, too, it says, in other instances, it may be less innocent that those who expose themselves for sexual gratification against the will of others. Now, how is it, too, because this is something to think about, that you can walk out of the house with a bikini on and everything hanging out, and that's lawful. But if you walk out in a bra and panties, that's unlawful.
Well, we're gonna get to that because state by state, all states don't agree in America. Let's go. Let's read on while we go look for that video.
So what are the laws affecting public nudity? Generally, in America, nudity is against the law in public places. Moreover, nudity is also generally illegal on a person's own property if the nude person is visible to the public, such as through an open window or sunbathing nude in someone's yard.
So now, if you got all the windows in your house open, all the curtains pulled back, and you walking around naked while the pool boy is out there, or while somebody cutting the grass, that's actually illegal.
But you know what's funny about that is that how come it's illegal? I'm not saying that you should go do it.
Right.
How come it's illegal, but when we just read up, this is prevalent?
and what's heavy about that is look at your shows you have on TV, like Desperate Housewives.
Right.
They're promoting the illegal acts.
Right. That's right. It's happening all the time, but yet it's illegal.
Right.
While
you got the video? All right, let's put that video up and then come back. Let's play that video. St. Patrick's Day. Look at that. St. Patrick's Day parade. All right.
Oh, they look at the Irish.
That's Ezekiel Elliott on the right. Okay.
Now, she was practicing suggestive lewd behavior because she basically suggested that, because this is Mardi Gras, and I know how Mardi Gras get down. I throw you some beads. I'm supposed to show you some skin. So she advertised, and he figured, well, okay, let me just help you out with that.
I want to get a script, and then I want to go back to reading this. Get us Sirach, chapter 30. Get Sirach, chapter 30. All right. Read verse 1, and then we're going to jump down to verse 9.
Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end.
So we want joy of our sons in the end. So the Lord has already given us the steps to raising a proper child. All right, proper son. Go ahead, jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid.
So we're not supposed to be playing with them when it comes to discipline. Go ahead.
Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth in the end.
You know what? I know his father had to be like, Zeke, what the hell are you doing? Bruh.
Well, you know how society treats them. Boys will be boys.
Right. And you know what? That's part of conquering the child. Yep. Go ahead.
Give him no liberty in his youth. And wink not at his follies.
And what happens is when these children that end up being NFL athletes or NBA or whatever sports profession, a lot of times they're separated in youth. They're the bigger, stronger, faster child in Little League. And they start to have their indiscretions played off like just what you said. Boys will be boys, right?
Absolutely right.
Go ahead.
Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he is a child, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Chastise thy son.
Do what?
Chastise thy son.
Say it again.
Chastise thy son. And hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be an offense unto thee.
You see that? So if you don't want your child, your son growing up being lewd and lascivious, the Bible has the instructions on how to raise our children. All right, let's go back and pick up on that.
While most state laws are clear about nudity around children and nudity meant to arouse, some other wording is vague, and violations often are a matter of community standards for indecency.
So now, it says violations are often a matter of community standards. That's why you got like federal laws, and then you have state laws, right? All right, read on.
Of course, in some situations, These laws may conflict with constitutional protections for freedom of expression, particularly if the nudity is part of an artistic performance or political demonstration.
Now, I want you to pull up the next article. While he's getting that, I remember in Cincinnati, this is years ago, probably 20 years ago or plus, there was an artist named Robert Mapplethorpe. All right, this is true. And in the museum, he had a lot of pictures that would be considered child pornography. But he was able to get away with it under the guise of art. Okay? Now, I want to read this definition and go to the next article. Let's read that.
The definition of kinky.
Because we've heard that word before, right?
Yep.
Okay. This America likes to be kinky. Okay, let's read that.
Kinky, involving or given to unusual sexual behavior.
More lewdness. Okay, let's read these synonyms.
Synonyms: abnormal.
What is the first one?
Abnormal.
Kinky is abnormal. Okay. Read on.
Unusual, weird, bizarre, peculiar, strange, odd, funny, perverted.
Now wait a minute. Kinky is funny?
You know what that is, right? That's them Will Ferrell movies with all them gay jokes all over it. You know that,
right? Go ahead.
Deviant.
Go ahead.
Unnatural.
Wow. Unnatural. We're going to read that in the scriptures too. Go ahead.
Warped. Twisted. Depraved. Degenerate. Perverse. Unhealthy.
This
aberrant,
is a screenshot of video that prosecutors say was secretly recorded inside Foss Home and Village Nursing Home in North Seattle.
That's
the man in scrubs is 29-year-old nursing assistant Yoshimiana Hamzat reporting the court documents recorded on this camera that looks like a phone charger that prosecutors say was hidden in a disabled woman's room here and allegedly captured him sexually assaulting her more than once. He's now charged with second-degree rape.
It was really terrible.
That woman is now bravely sharing her story with Cairo 7 for the first time.
Yeah, I asked him what you are doing to me.
You're a sicko.
He said to me back, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to clean you.
All right, let's go to the next article. I want that article.
That led her not to
what the
immediately
kinkies
tell her
like, kind
family.
of like
I was feeling that nobody will help me.
Ted Bundy.
Once
He
she
got
did,
off for not
prosecutors
raping a
say her
woman but
brother
knocking him
bought
upside
this
the
hidden
head.
camera.
That's what he
did not
actually
tell
got
his
off
sister
for.
about
That's
his plan
kinky in his
that
eyes.
made him nervous.
I don't know what he thinking.
Now, the
but
reason
if
we
he
read
find
that
I
first
think
is
he can
one
do
of the
something bad
synonyms
to
for
Kuro.
kinky was what? Weird. Weird. So, in the spirit of the lewdness of America, we're going to read the complete list of weird sex laws in the USA. Let's read it.
The complete list of weird sex laws in the USA.
Scroll down. Let's just get to the, there we go. Start at Alabama.
Incestuous marriages are legal.
Wow. It says incestuous marriages are legal.
Among family members.
Say what? Now, we got to go to Leviticus 18.
Yep.
We got to go to
Bring it
Leviticus 18. Before we read that, give me, what's that, 1 Corinthians 5? 1 Corinthians 5 and 1. Let's get the understanding of what fornication is.
1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 1.
Because apparently fornication is legal in Alabama.
Oh, hell no.
Read it.
It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife.
That one should what?
Have his father's wife.
Wait a minute. What can you do in Alabama?
Incestuous marriages are legal.
So I guess you can have your father's wife in Alabama.
Right.
Wow.
Damn.
Damn.
That's crazy.
So now let's go to Leviticus 18.
You gotta be worried there's son coming out your house. You live in Alabama.
Right.
That's keeping it in the family.
You pull up.
Damn.
You pull up to your house and your son walking out your house.
Right.
Right.
Oh, hell no.
Hey,
That's
hey,
rough.
you remember What's that in Friday? Remember next Friday?
Yes, yes. Oh man.
What's her name? Sugar?
Was it Sugar?
Nah, it was something else, man. She fell asleep in his lap. Uncle woke up like, "What the hell you doing, nephew?"
You sure that wasn't filmed in Alabama?
Right. Never know.
All right, hold on. Let's get Leviticus 18.
Yeah, bring that out.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel.
You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, go ahead.
And say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
So wait a minute. Because a lot of our people, we want to be Egyptians, right?
Right.
Can we get that in, hold that, can we get that in Exodus 11?
Egyptologists. This is your customs.
This is we gonna help you out, brothers and sisters. Exodus 11 and what's that, 7?
Yep.
The book of Exodus, chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference.
What did the Lord do?
Doth put a difference.
He put what?
A difference.
A difference
between the Egyptians and Israel.
So you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, children of the slave trade, you are not Egyptians.
That's
you
right.
are the Israelites.
That's right.
And these laws are for you. Let's read that.
That's right.
Read on Exodus 18:3.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 3. And after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
Walk in their ordinances. Read on.
Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord your God.
Read.
Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him.
Except for in Alabama. Damn.
Right. Sweet home.
No, you ain't supposed to be doing that in Alabama either.
You know why I call it sweet home now.
Right. Sweet home Alabama.
Oh, wow. Go ahead, read on.
To uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord.
So now, jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness.
So we were not supposed to be uncovering the nakedness of our father's wife. That's what Paul was making reference to in the book of 1 Corinthians. Okay? Now, you got that video? All right, let's go ahead and play that.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm sure miss you. Why don't you give your auntie Sugar some sugar? Give me a kiss. Come here.
Nephew, you're welcome here anytime.
Look, I don't want to come back.
Thanks again.
Hey, I want to jump down. I want to jump down to verse 14.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 14.
Bring it out.
Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thine aunt.
You see that? She is your aunt. So Aunt Sugar try to slob you down like that, you need to run up out the house.
Slobbed you down after dealing with your uncle? Oh, Lord.
Dang.
Bruh.
Might need that mouthwash you saw in class last night.
Bruh.
All right, let's go back. Let's read these. Let's go ahead and read through these.
In Alaska, moose are banned from having sex on city streets in Fairbanks.
Hey, you know how they did that?
You can't be serious.
Because the natural moose knows what to do with another moose. But
so
mankind We tried to change
the
it
cop
up.
rolls up to the moose, and what does he do?
Hey,
Yeah,
maybe that was
for real.
for the cop being a voyeur.
Oh, man.
Message.
That's why you got bestiality laws in the Bible. Go ahead. Read on.
In Arizona, you may not have more than 2 dildos in the same house.
Wow.
Now, you know, when I was reading this for preparing, I'm like, who goes around and checks these things?
Who raised you?
Right. Right. I hope you
Sir,
put on your gloves as soon as you walk through the door.
Where are the inspectors to make sure there's only 2 dildos in the home?
Right. Man.
What's the fine?
Look at this. Somebody come.
And what, they going to confiscate them?
Bruh. You can't make this stuff up, man. This is truly Babylon, man.
Hey, this is Babylon. Go ahead, read on.
In Arkansas, flirtation and lascivious banter between men and women on the streets may result in a 30-day jail term.
Wow.
Damn.
You trying to spit game on the streets,
Right.
you might get locked up in Arkansas.
But it says lascivious banter. I don't think that's regular enticing as we know it. As Jake know it anyway.
Yeah, well, kind of is regular with Jake nowadays.
X-rated flirtation. Then.
You listen to our music. Hey, so you know what?
Hey, you're right.
So if you playing certain types of music and it's loud enough for everybody to hear it, you should be sentenced.
You can't play
in Arkansas.
You can't play Trey Songz in Arkansas.
Nope. No Usher. No Genuine.
Right. Okay.
California. It's illegal to sell stuffed items resembling breasts, booby pillows, within 1,000 feet of a highway.
Hey, you know what happened?
Somebody in a crash.
Somebody crashed.
Exactly. Somebody crashed.
Distraction.
Keep your eyes on the road. And they drive crazy in California. So keep
That's
your eyes
called
on the road.
distractive driving. Go ahead.
No man shall dress as a woman without the written permission of the sheriff.
Wow. So not that you can't do it at all. It just has to be approved.
So you got to do paperwork.
In Walnut, California, that is.
Got to get
I
your
don't
permit.
know what the hell is going on in Walnut,
Guess what?
California?
According to the Lord, you shouldn't be doing it at all.
Right.
In Colorado, male massage parlor workers must wear all white clothing. In Adams County.
I don't.
Yeah, we don't even need it. Y'all know how that is.
Hey, wait. What was the name of that movie? Tracy Morgan. First Sunday. And he was getting a massage, and Sister leaned in. He's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Mordecai."
Right. Go ahead.
Keeping a house where unmarried persons are allowed to have sex is prohibited.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Oh, we like that one.
In Florida, married couples as well as singles cannot engage in open lewdness or lascivious behavior.
That's a damn lie.
I do not see that being enforced in Florida.
That is a damn lie. That is a lie.
You know, 3 letters let you know that's a lie. OBT.
Damn.
For those that you don't know.
Or
that is,
MIA.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true.
Beach. Right.
Damn, and you know what's crazy? They got new beaches down there. So if you was to give your wife or you girl a hug in a new beach,
I'm going to put you on this one.
No, it's a lewdness.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to remember what we read earlier. That's why we read that article earlier, is because there are some state laws that they can write to allow for that behavior.
This is the land of confusion.
But you know,
Absolutely.
in that first article you pulled, it said that if it's a public event, then it's allowed. Like we teaching over by the stadium.
Camping World. Yeah.
During the camping, what was that? The
Bacchanal.
Bacchanal, right?
Carnival.
Okay. Right.
Y'all know what that is. Or the West Indian Day Parade.
Right. Nah, we
good. We good with that.
Georgia.
The term sadomasochistic abuse.
The term what?
Sadomasochistic abuse. Is defined so broadly.
Here's that gray area.
That it could possibly be applied to a person handcuffing another in a clown suit.
I want you to go back to the definition of kinky. Let's go back to the definition of kinky.
So there's no circus in Georgia.
Wow.
You got that?
Kinky, involving or given to unusual sexual behavior.
We need synonyms.
Synonyms: abnormal.
Go down to sadistic and masochistic.
Sadistic, masochistic.
All right, let's go back to Georgia.
In Georgia, the term sadomasochistic abuse,
kinky abuse, go ahead,
is defined so broadly
because you know what's going on there
that it could possibly be applied to a person handcuffing another in a clown suit.
So you know what that means? That if you come before the judge, the magistrate, and you got the complexion for the protection, you're going to probably walk away free.
Right.
Look at this.
Bare minimum is handcuffing a clown in a suit.
Right.
Now, read the next one.
All sex toys are banned.
All sex toys are banned. Wow. So there should not be one store in Georgia
say that. It can't be
selling sex toys.
Even with the other term, Love and Hip Hop should not be broadcast out of the state of Georgia based on that alone.
I think Atlanta is banned from these laws.
Right. Damn. That's New Samaria.
Illinois.
In Illinois, if you sell a reptile, you must give a written warning not to nuzzle or kiss them.
Oh my goodness.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We got to jump down. Leviticus 18. You know. You got to jump down. Give me the law on bestiality.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 23. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast.
Or reptile.
Any beast. To defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereunto. It is confusion.
Now remember, the other nations were doing this. In Egypt, they were doing this.
Right.
Don't they got a reptile god?
Yes, they do.
Ooh.
Sobek.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's read on.
To that thing too.
It's prohibited by law to suffer any bitch or slut, referring to dogs, in manuka.
Okay.
To allow.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. They got some strange things going on in manuka. All right. Indiana.
In Indiana, it is illegal for a man to be sexually aroused in public.
So they got the crotch police in Indiana walking around.
Police walk up on you looking not in your
That's
eyes.
one of them weird states.
They ain't looking in your eyes.
What's that, the Hoosiers?
Right. Who raised you?
Right.
Who raised you?
In Iowa, kisses may last for no more than 5 minutes.
Damn.
Who the hell is kissing somebody more than 5 minutes?
Jaw, mouth, everything hurt.
Yeah, because you know why. That's yours. Marry that. That you defiled that.
Right. Damn.
In Kansas,
Scroll up. All right.
In Kansas, illegal sodomy includes oral sex, but anal penetration with a finger is allowed under specified circumstances.
God. You know, that's what was that? I can't remember the name of it now, man.
Who is patrol?
Listen, that's the typical college. White girl says, go here, don't go there.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is patrolling these laws?
So, hey, it's a dirty job, but somebody got to do it.
All right. Kentucky.
In Kentucky, dogs must not molest property or people.
Oh, so your dog can't hump.
You know, this the thing, though. It says they must not, right? We just read a law. Why would they want to? Because I know dogs, they do certain things. You regard the life of your beast, let him go have fun, man. Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, right? But it says dogs must not molest property or people. This animal's confused about something.
But this is what I'm looking at. Why are you trying to put it on the dog?
Yeah.
Right.
Like the dog sounds crafty. It was the dog's fault.
Let's make sure Esau don't molest
the dog shouldn't have been
property
so sexy.
or
come on, man. Seriously.
Damn.
Go ahead.
Until 1975, people wearing bathing suits on any city street were required have a police escort.
All right.
In Louisiana, necrophilia is legal.
Now, let's look that up. In Louisiana, necrophilia is legal? Yeah, get that definition. Again, what are we going into? We're going into the lewdness of America. This is the Lionz Den Radio Show. Call in 407-545-4624. Somebody said, train your dog. Train your dog.
You're absolutely right. We got laws on
that. Now, let's read necrophilia. Sexual intercourse sexual intercourse with or attraction towards corpses.
Wow. The Ted Bundy law.
The Ted Bundy law. Okay. Let's go back. Let's read that.
In Louisiana, necrophilia is legal.
What the heck is going on in Louisiana? Read on.
It's illegal to use fortune telling,
Yep, there we go.
astrology, or palmistry to settle lovers' quarrels in New Orleans.
All right, let's bring the law out on that.
Deuteronomy.
Yep. Because I was wondering what was the correlation with that.
Exactly.
That makes perfect sense. What is the correlation?
Mm-hmm.
You got that?
18.
Deuteronomy chapter 18.
You can start at verse 10.
Yep. Let's read it in context.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18.
Do me a favor. Read from verse 9, because this is the point.
And verse 9. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations.
Because we're reading the nations. They still doing these abominations. No matter where we go, where we came from, this was always their custom. Read.
There shall not be found among you any one that maketh a son or daughter to pass through the fire.
Should be no abortions.
Or that useth divination.
No kind of witchcraft.
Or an observer of time.
No horoscope.
Or an enchanter. Or a witch. Or a charmer. Or a consulter with familiar spirits.
That's them witch doctors you go to, pay a couple $100, talking about, call me now. Read.
Or a wizard. Or a necromancer.
Or a what?
A necromancer.
Because in that particular, what was that, Louisiana?
Right.
They said necrophilia and also no observer of times. Right. You know what they doing, right? They creeping in there. What was that? You was telling me about a movie one time about that. She got pregnant from sleeping with the dead dude.
The world according to Garp.
Yeah.
The world according to Garp. Garp's mother got pregnant when she climbed on top of I think he was in a coma. Damn. All right, it's an old movie.
Yeah, art imitates life.
Yes. Dang. All right, let's go down to Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts, making noise in a public library is a crime against chastity, morality, decency, and good order.
Okay. I don't know why it would be making noise unless that was going into certain kinds of noises.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead.
In Michigan, a man who seduces or corrupts an unmarried woman faces 5 years in prison.
I don't think so. I don't think they're applying that.
Right. You know they ain't.
Go ahead.
There'll be no football team out there.
Low-riding pants that expose underwear are a Class B offense. But if they expose butt cleavage, they're a Class A offense in Flint.
Wow. So it must be a lot of sagging in Flint.
Right.
In Mississippi, it's illegal to teach others what polygamy is. Adultery or premarital sex results in a fine of $500 or 6 months in prison.
Damn, that's heavy.
Right.
That's heavy. That sounds like Deuteronomy 22. 22, 28. You got to pay that shekel.
Bring it out.
Good.
In Montana, prostitution is a crime against the family.
Wow.
It is.
It is. Right.
It absolutely is.
Against the father.
Right.
In Nebraska, you can't get married if you have gonorrhea.
Damn.
Bruh.
Hey, I wonder if they've updated that, amended that law to add other diseases.
Well, you know, in America, you got to get caught.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they get down.
You got sisters on Facebook walking around telling how many, naming the names of everybody she gave HIV to. So.
Oh, heck.
Right. Yeah. I didn't put that one up there, but you're right. Go ahead. Nevada.
In Nevada, Sale of sex toys is illegal.
You know why, right? Because prostitution is legal all over the street.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You walk around with open containers.
They won't get any tax revenue.
Right.
Go ahead.
In New Hampshire, lingerie must not be hung on a clothesline at the airport.
Wait a minute. Yeah. This brother's never seen lingerie before.
I'll put your lingerie outside.
Yeah. You got to excuse Irita.
Hey, come to the bedroom with no lingerie on, girl.
Yeah.
All right, let's try that again.
In New Hampshire, lingerie must not be hung on a clothesline at the airport.
What?
Right.
I didn't even know that.
Read on. Unless
there's a screen concealing it.
Hey,
in Kitterville.
They must all live by the airport.
Right.
They surrounded the airport.
Hey, that lingerie is distracting the pilots.
I'm not flying in that state.
New Jersey.
In New Jersey, flirting is illegal.
I don't understand.
That's a lie.
I don't understand that.
That's Officer Daniel.
This is a lot of lies, man.
Officer Daniel. Come on.
It's a lie.
Bruh. Flirting illegal in New Jersey.
Hey, we go keep going.
No, it's only in that one township.
Hey, you know what it is? If they can't catch you up on something else, the cop is going to ask you, did you flirt with anybody today? Black man? Okay. Turn around. We got to take you in.
And what's so crazy, we're reading these laws, and a lot of these laws, a lot of times you'll find are still on the books. A lot of times they're not enforced,
Yeah.
but they are still there, which means if they choose, like you're saying, if they choose to enforce that law, they can arrest you on these things.
You're right. That's like jailwalking. Yeah, nobody realizes it's still a law until somebody actually, enforces it.
All right, go ahead.
In New Mexico, nudity is allowed as long as genitals and female nipples are covered.
You know what this is? This is the body paint though.
Wait a minute.
I don't know if you ever seen that. The sisters, they get body paint on them, and then they have like one little thing to go over their nipples.
I've seen that.
That's
you
what
got,
they're talking about, right?
Juve up there that they have the night before the What's Your Name Day parade in New York and Brooklyn. That's what a lot of them do. And then you think they got on a shirt till you get up close. You're like, wait a second.
Right. Body paint.
Oh, hell no.
New York.
In New York,
I know this is a lie.
Yeah.
adultery is illegal.
The whole state should be behind bars behind this alone. I was just keeping it real with you. Times Square should not even exist.
Right.
That's another lie.
Right.
Lies on there.
Hey, but like you said, they're not enforcing it.
Can I pull one scripture on
Go
that?
ahead.
Ecclesiastes 10:6. Because the reason why they're not enforced on this because it's accepted.
Yep.
Right? They got it in the books, but they say, you know what? We're not going to enforce it because it's outdated.
The person supposed to enforce it is guilty of it.
Right. Can we read that real quick?
Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 6.
Bring it out.
Folly is set in great dignity.
What is set at great dignity?
Folly is set in great dignity.
That folly is lewdness. Lewdness is now set at great dignity. So that's why they have these laws in the books and they say, you know what? Let's close the book because that's not acceptable anymore. Today, this is what we are able to do and we're going to continue to do it and we're going to accept it. It's set at great dignity.
All right, read on.
Read on.
In North Carolina, adultery is illegal. And so is pretending to be married in order to share a hotel room. In North Dakota, it was illegal to swim naked in the Red River between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. in Fargo. It's against the law to fail to confine a dog or cat in heat in Grand Forks. In Ohio, no person shall solicit sex from another of the same gender if it offends the second person.
Bruh.
So if it's not offensive, it's okay. Go ahead, read on.
In Oklahoma, it is illegal for the owner of a bar to allow anyone inside to engage in acts or simulated acts of sexual intercourse, masturbation, sodomy, bestiality, oral copulation, flagellation, or any sexual acts which are otherwise prohibited by law. So no simulated intercourse or animal sex.
You're a white man. Okay. Oregon?
In Oregon, it's illegal to lie down in a public restroom or for two people to share a stall meant for one. In Pennsylvania, oral and anal sex are illegal. You cannot cohabit with an ancestor or descendant. In South Carolina, if a man promises to marry a woman and she sleeps with him, the marriage must take place.
Now, let's pull that. Let's pull that. Okay. We got to pull that. South Carolina. Now, wait a minute. South Carolina is where we read about the woman.
Right.
That was,
sleeping with the young man.
She
John.
was,
tutoring John.
All right, read that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Right. So the marriage must take place. South Carolina's in the spirit with that. Go ahead. Read on. South Dakota.
South Dakota. Public erections are illegal. In Tennessee, students may not hold hands in school. In Texas, it's illegal to own more than 6 dildos.
Wow. Another state it was 2. Go ahead.
In Utah, it's illegal to marry your first cousin before the age of 65 or 55.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
If you can prove both parties are infertile.
They don't want you to repopulate marrying your first cousin. Go ahead.
An adult cannot show sex paraphernalia to a minor unless they're your own child.
Wow.
In Salt Lake City.
Now that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because you can show sexual paraphernalia to your own child. Go ahead, read on.
In Virginia, adultery is a misdemeanor. Obscenity is a bigger crime if you use a computer. In Washington, if you give a sex worker a ride to work, your car can be confiscated.
You could lose your vehicle. Okay.
In West Virginia, an unmarried couple who live together and lewdly associated could face up to a year in jail.
So now, what we read is weird sex laws in America. So these laws are on the books, but you rarely, if ever, hear of any of these things actually being enforced. I want to stay in Leviticus. Let's jump down to verse 24.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 24.
Down to 27.
Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things. For in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you.
So all these nations that we live amongst are defiled people. Go ahead.
And the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants.
And that's what happened before we went in and got the homeland in the first place. Go ahead.
Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation,
right?
Nor any stranger that sojourneth among you.
So if we were keeping the laws of God correctly, neither would we be doing these things, or we wouldn't even know of these things. Go ahead. Jump down to 29.
Verse 29. For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore shall ye keep mine ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs, which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the Lord your God.
So we are not supposed to be partaking in the lewd acts of America.
Right.
We are not supposed to be envying our oppressors. We're not supposed to be keeping their festivals and their holidays that promote these acts.
Right. And you know, it's a prime example about that. We're reading our history. We came out of Egypt. Moses dipped for a second to get us the commandments, to get us right. And we went back into those same customs. We started reveling, having a party. We was turning up on the mountain. We was turning up. You imagine Joshua sitting there like, damn, Moses going to be pissed at this.
Right.
Probably look like they're down here listening to that Egypt music. Moses come down like, what's going on? Hey, Moses, they reveling again.
Hey, get that in Exodus 32. Since you said that, then Exodus, that's 32. I want, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then we're gonna take a commercial break after that, and get into the last part of the show. What do we want to start at? Verse 8?
Yeah.
The book of Exodus.
Rose up to play 6.
Yeah.
Nope.
Start from what, verse 5?
Let's start at verse 5.
The book of Exodus, chapter 32 and verse 5. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said,
You know what? Jump up to verse 2 and read fast.
Yeah.
Verse 2. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings, which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And they rose up early on the morrow, and offered burnt offerings, and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink, and rose up to play.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves.
What did they do?
They have corrupted themselves.
Just the same thing as we see today with us here in America and scattered. Go ahead.
They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them.
Uh-huh.
They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
So the same thing is happening today. That's idol worship, idolatry. And a lot of these idol worships, you have orgies, right? Drunkenness and revelry. We're going to get into these things after the commercial break. This is all part of the lewdness in America. So you're tuned into the Lionz Den radio show. When we return, the phone number is open. The number is 407-545-4624.
The Israel United in Christ organization.
Tell me how! Tell me how!
Organization Israel United in Christ. Spreading the teachings and history of the Bible.
Setting up a Christian school in Las Vegas.
Some of us used to sell drugs, but more then reach out to black men and minorities in particular.
Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice. Ye have brought this man unto me as one that perverted the people. And behold, I, having examined him before you, have found no fault in this man. What would you have me to do with him? Free Barabbas! Free Barabbas! Kill him! Give us Barabbas! Give us Barabbas! Crucify him!
Shalom, all right, we back.
Shalom, we back. Lionz Den radio show.
Hey, I can't get enough of that Stone of the Bills Rejected. That's a fire trailer, man.
Yeah.
That thing is fire.
You got to go to watch and read.
That's right.
Israel, you got to promote that. You know, that's one of the things. That's why we're in the condition we're in now. One of the reasons we don't have any iconic images for our own people. And so the Lord has put it on the spirit of brothers and sisters in Israel to put out Watch and Read and the truth for our people, our history. So y'all got to go and subscribe to Watch and Read and promote this to your children. All right. So, all right, we're going to get into the next part. We're going to now show how this lewdness has affected our people, okay? This lewdness has affected our people. You got the Sarah Bartman. Pull up Sarah Bartman. Just type it in, bro.
Check. All right. Let me get Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1 real quick. Going into everything that we just read, especially pertaining to those weird sex laws. I wanted to pull this earlier, but let's read that. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 1. Because like we read in Leviticus 18, these things was prohibited by the Most High God. The same thing was stated by the prophets in the New Testament. So read what you got.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 1. Be ye therefore followers of God as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also hath loved us, and hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling savor.
Right.
But fornication.
But what?
But fornication. And all uncleanness.
And all what?
And all uncleanness.
That's going into Leviticus 18, that uncleanliness. Read.
Or covetousness. Let it not be once named among you.
So we ain't even supposed to be discussing it. You ain't even supposed to be able to point out that brother over there is participating in Leviticus 18 and 13. That brother over there is participating in Leviticus 18 and 22. You see what I'm saying? We're not even supposed to be able to identify that thing amongst us. Read on.
As becometh saints. Neither filthiness.
Neither what?
Neither filthiness.
That's going into those fetishes, all those evil things, those weird sex laws. That is filthy in the eyes of the Most High God. It is unbecoming. Read.
Nor foolish talking.
Nor foolish what?
Nor foolish talking.
Because remember when we read a law in one of those states that it said that you could not talk to each other. You couldn't just inappropriately, X-rated flirtation. That's in the Bible. Don't think their laws come out of nowhere. Read on.
Nor jesting, which are not convenient.
So God said these things are not even convenient. They're not profitable for you at all. Read.
But rather giving of thanks.
So how do you give thanks? By keeping God's commandments. Read. Last verse.
For this ye know, that no whoremonger.
That no what?
No whoremonger.
So remember all those states we seen, adultery is illegal. Adultery is a misdemeanor. This was something that God told us from the beginning. You're committing a crime against God when you participate in adultery and these other things. Read on.
Nor unclean person. Nor covetous man.
Now, why does it say covetous man? Because when you want to do things outside of God's laws, all these evil little weird things that's not given to you, God never said you can do it. So you covetous because you want to covet another nation's ways. Read on.
Who is an idolater.
Who is a what?
An idolater.
That's what makes you an idolater, because they have idols. These are the idols, these dildos, these different things that they use. Read.
Hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God.
Read that again. Hath what?
Hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God.
So if you are participating in any of these things that we just read, any of these things we showed, God is telling you, you have no place in his kingdom. That's what we must understand.
Right. Hey, that's heavy because, and I want to just, can I pull another?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the root of this comes from ancient of days, like way back. We have to go back to the root of when this started and how this influence has affected our people. Can we go to 2 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 9? So this is the time of the Greeks, okay? So the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we were under the Greek captivity as the Israelites, okay? And one of the things that they did was influence us with athletics. And part of athletics, we're going to read about how that has changed our mindset and caused us to fall into this lewd behavior.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 9. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise.
So this is talking about Antiochus. He's talking to Jason, one that is aspiring to be a high priest, okay? And he's promising that he will give him money if he sets up a place of exercise. A place of exercise is a gymnasium. Gymnasium means place of naked exercise, right? Read on.
And for the training up of the youth.
From the what?
And for the training up of youth.
So they taught that from when they were children. They reached out to us as we were children. Read.
In the fashions of the heathen.
In the fashions of what?
In the fashions of the heathen.
We just read some of the fashions of the heathen in Leviticus chapter 18. Read.
And to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochus.
By the name of Antiochus, which is the so-called white man. That's the leader of the Greek empire. Jump down to verse 12.
Verse 12. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself.
That's the gymnasium. That's the place of naked exercise. This is where we first learn lewd behavior. Why? Because in the basketball gym, you had shorts up to your crotch, right? You had the volleyball girls where we would wait after school to watch them practice.
Right.
You had the cheerleaders on the side supporting Go Team Go. Why? Why you were all doing naked exercise.
Those last two you called out, they don't even actually wear clothes. That is not clothes at all.
Read on.
And brought the chief young men under his subjection.
You see that? They always go after the youth. They're always going back to us when we're young because that's when we're the most influential. So that's why it's important to teach our children the law, statutes, and commandments. Continue on.
And made them wear a hat. Now such was the height of Greek fashion.
This was the height. That was the peak of the Greek fashions. Read.
And increase of heathenism, of heathenish manners.
So then after that, that's when the heathenish manners increased. That's when we got into the sex toys and all that other foolishness that we were dealing with because that was like a gateway drug, right? Read on.
Through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest.
So because he went against the laws of God and began to preach the Greek fashions, we then started to follow along them when we forsake our God. And now we ended up in the conditions that we are today. And that's what we're going in now.
Hey, that is a perfect segue because we do practice the Greek fashions. And that's why when we were reading the definitions, lewdness, lewd is sexy, right? And we promote these things and we see them as normal now. Where the Most High said that he made us an honorable plant, and now because of these things, we have become a degenerate plant. Now, no, take that down. Go in order. I want you to start with the photo right after the stone the builders rejected. There you go. I want to read this. Because now, how has these things affected us? We're going to go back now into the time of slavery. Let's read that.
The slaveholders' refusal to view their slaves as ladies and gentlemen entailed more than a refusal to grant them genteel social status. It withheld minimal respect for those attributes of masculinity and femininity that the slaveholders prized most highly for themselves.
So during the time of slavery, this is showing you that they did not value us as people. That's why we 3/5 of a man. It said the attributes of masculinity for men, femininity for women, they held that amongst themselves. But they didn't consider us to be men or women, right? Read on.
The popular images of Buck and Sambo and Jezebel and Mammy captured dominant white views of gender roles among slaves.
Stop. So now, when we act in a certain way that's outside the laws of God, and you think that you're leaning to your own understanding, this is my style, this is my swag. Right. No. Your enemy has already planted these ideas in your mind. And he promotes it through media, through songs, through the magazines,
through
right?
Flood.
Through the flood. Drop down to the next highlighted part.
That's like Deacon Yowsal be saying, white man is parked in your brain.
Parked in your brain. Feet up, dirty boots. Go ahead, read that. So let's go into the first of these four ideas that they have for us as a people.
The notion of buck, a white gender convention, represented
a caricature
or reversal of the notion of cavalier. It encoded white
male fears
of black sexuality in particular and of virility in general. The convention of the buck emphasized white views of the single, sexually active black male as divorced from other social roles.
You see that? They said that they want to create the black man to be divorced from other social roles, like that of a father.
Right.
Why do you think that they try to tear down and destroy, or they have done, like Bill Cosby?
Yep.
Right, among others.
Right.
They don't want to see us in a positive light, in a positive manner. Read on.
As a shadow image of the cavalier, it reflected whites' bad faith about the master-slave relation, since slave law denied the legality of black marriage and ownership of property.
You see that? While we were in slavery, marriage was not even recognized among us. Go ahead. You'll see why that's important.
It is hardly surprising that the white image of the black man should have divorced sexuality from reproduction and social responsibility, including the protection of women.
And to this day, our women don't trust us to protect them. Right? Go ahead.
The buck evoked a sexually active, perpetual adolescence.
That's why you'll have 50, 60-year-old men. Matter of fact, let's get that in Sirach 25:1. You'll have the aged man who should be raising up and teaching the young man. He's still rocking his LeBron jersey, his Kango cap. Right?
Remember we seen that at Brown Sugar Festival down there?
Right.
Old men across the street, they just, like, you about to bring out the scripture on it right now.
The Sirach 25, actually 25:2. That's what I want.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 2.
Bring it out.
3 sorts of men my soul hateth, and I am greatly offended at their life.
So this is an offense to the Most High. Read.
A poor man that is proud. A rich man that is a liar. And an old adulterer that doteth.
And an old adulterer. He always trying to get his holler on, his Mac game on with the ladies. Right? Read that part again about the buck. The buck evoked.
The buck evoked a sexually active, perpetual adolescence.
Perpetual adolescence. And through Esau's science, now he's giving you Viagra and other pills to keep that thing going.
This gonna sound like an oxymoron, but the buck is a mama's boy's ladies' man. He's still at home with the mama, but he got all the ladies.
Baby boy.
No response. There you go. That's
baby
one.
boy. Wow. Go ahead, read on.
Implicitly, it also evoked the threat of black sexuality to white women. A fascinating reversal, since the main interracial sexual threat was that of white predators against black women.
Okay, so let's scroll down some more. Let's scroll down. Let's go to the next one. That one. Image of the Sambo.
The image of Sambo inverted that of buck and embodied a reversal of white attitudes toward masculinity. For Sambo captured an image of docility in direct opposition to the white ideals of male honor.
You see that? That's why you got men that don't stand up to protect their women. You know, we'll stand up and fight each other, but you won't stand up to your oppressor. Nope.
Message.
That we read that it was in the Willie Lynch letter.
Yeah.
Right?
Making of a slave.
Okay, go ahead.
Divorced from the image of buck, it offered an image of the black man as naturally subservient to the will of the white, as too lazy and supine to care about self-defense.
Wow.
much less the honorable attributes of freedom.
I don't want to be free. I'm good. Don't upset them good white man.
You know what's heavy about this? When we go to camp, we trying to tell us to brothers like, yo, bro, you still perpetrate. You saying you free, you this,
Right.
you that, you the next thing. You got yourself figured out, but then you still perpetrating a fraud because you going after what's parked up in your head. You still rocking off for the same image, the same Sambo image they put in you from your ancestors, but you think that you different, that you woke. I'm a woke.
Right, I'm woke. I'm going to show you something about that naturally subservient will of the white. Read that.
Bring it out.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
And you know who else they called after their own names? Their property. Johnson, Smith, Rodriguez.
Hey, you want to hear something heavy? Yesterday, the event we went to, right? A lot of those people don't even know the town that they say is free is named after the white guy that they bought it from.
Wow.
Josiah C. Eaton. His name is Eaton, and they named Eatonville after the white man they bought it from.
Right.
They were shocked at that. They celebrating 132 years of still being under the white man.
Right.
So Psalms 49:11 is still true.
Hey, it had to come out.
You got something, officer? Go ahead. The image?
The image reassured whites of their own ability to control their slaves and of their safety within households in which slaves outnumbered them.
And you know what? Even today, you can go into white neighborhoods. Like I remember we was in Chicago, and you can have a white neighborhood start, and it's like the crime of being a black neighborhood, they won't even dare to set foot over an imaginary line into the white neighborhood to perpetuate crimes.
Right. Hey, and just to paint the image of this Sambo too, because they put it in movies. One of the movies I thought about right away was Norbit, because he was the one. He was the docile, very docile man, too lazy to even defend himself, even against his woman. He was just a weak man. A weak man.
Oh, hell
You know who else? And what's that, Family Guy? Cleveland?
Yeah.
Let's scroll down. Similarly,
the convention of the mammy reflected recognizable white values. If implicitly the idea of the mammy referred to...
Go ahead, let's get the next one.
You gotta blow that up.
Just blow it up. Yeah, just blow it up.
Well,
Come on, IT team.
Yeah. Come on, IT team. There you go. Or else
we still got auditions for the IT team.
We wanted we wanted y'all to read along with us. But go ahead, Daniel.
But that was heavy about how we still have our names attached to us. It's just following us no matter where we go, and that's part of the curses that they will pursue thee and overtake thee, and all the lands that we go into.
Right, there's no escape.
Right.
You could jump on a plane, get your new citizenship. You're still property. You're not free until you're ruling.
Where to start?
So we gonna read it over here. That's what you're talking about right here?
Yeah, it evoked.
If implicitly of the mammy referred to motherhood and reproduction, it also claimed those privileges for the masters rather than for the slaves themselves. Just as Buck signaled the threat of master-slave relations, mammy signaled the wish for organic harmony and projected a woman who suckled and reared white masters. The image displays sexuality into nurture and transformed potential hostility into sustenance and love. It claimed for the white family the ultimate devotion of black women.
You see that? It claimed for white women what?
It claimed for the white family the ultimate devotion of black women.
Dang.
Who reared the children of others as if they were their own.
This is why even today, our black mothers can so freely forgive other nations for violence against their own children.
Right.
Let's scroll down. Let's get to the next one. Jezebel.
The image of Jezebel explicitly contradicted the image of Mammy, and that of the lady as well.
Uh-huh.
Although, like that of Mammy and unlike that of the lady, it presented a woman isolated from the men of her own community.
So, that's today the thought.
Right.
Right? That side piece, you're not going to marry her. You're not going to protect her.
Right.
You'll hit that, and then you'll talk about it. Right? Go ahead.
Jezebel lived free of the social constraints that surrounded the sexuality of white women.
That's the lie when our sisters say that they like being single.
Yeah,
right?
Independent woman.
Independent
you hit it
woman.
right on the head. That's what I was going to say. The independent black woman falls under the Jezebel.
And then we made songs about it, right? I want an INDE. Okay, I'm not going to go down there. Yeah. Y'all know, right? All right, go ahead. She
thus legitimated the wanton behavior of white men.
That lewd behavior of white men. Go ahead.
By proclaiming black women to be lusty wenches.
You see what the prevailing attitude against the Israelite woman is? Read that again.
Legitimated the wanton behavior of white men by proclaiming black women to be lusty wenches.
Oh, hell no.
Read on.
In whom sexual impulse overwhelmed all restraint.
She's always ready. That's one of the curses. Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Matter of fact, let's read that right quick.
Yeah.
You got that? Go ahead. What you got?
It was something about that, because if you're not paying attention, it does go back to Willie Lynch, right? And we still perpetrating it because the brother had to get destroyed first. Mm-hmm. That was the point.
Right.
And a lot of women take it out saying there's no good black men. Well, what y'all have to understand is the black man has been destroyed just like you've been destroyed. Mm-hmm. And instead, you still cleave on, like right now, a lot of women's voting rights and things like that. Where is the sister that's trying to actually build up and help that black man to be back in the rightful position, right?
Right.
Go to Isaiah chapter 3 real quick. Go to Isaiah chapter 3. Because read from verse 1. This is exactly what happened to us that's going to lead us to the end resolution that we see dealing with our sisters. Start from 3 and 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
For, behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water.
Talking about famine. Go ahead.
The mighty man.
So he also took away the mighty man, right? Go ahead.
And the man of war.
That man of war that would have been protecting you at all costs. Read.
The judge.
The one that have been teaching you, have matters of discernment. Read.
And the prophet.
The one that would have been able to break down scriptures for you to better understand what exactly is going on, right? Come on.
And the prudent. And the ancient.
The ancient. There's no elder man in the community. We just read that the ancient is now doting about the place, acting worse than a teenager. Dropping a dollar bill on the ground, talking about, go ahead, young girl, pick that up. Read.
The captain of 50. And the honorable men. And the counselor. And the cunning artificer. And the eloquent orator.
The one that used to know how to speak properly. So he took away all these things. Buck breaking. He destroyed us as men. What was the end result for the black woman? Read.
And I will give children to be their princes.
Now you got a generation that are fatherless that's growing up and that's ruling over you. Imagine your 5-year-old coming in your room and that's your ruler. Going upside your head. He's emotional. He cannot be a judge. He cannot be a protector. This is what you got leading your people right now. Read.
And babes shall rule over them.
Come on.
And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another.
That's why we have black on black crime, hatred amongst each other. There's no mighty man to teach, to lead, to guide, to chastise, to keep that young man in line, much less to teach his sister. Read.
And every one by his neighbor.
Come on.
The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient.
That's exactly what we see in every community we go in. You got the young man raising up against the elderly. You don't see no young man going out there today helping an elderly lady with bags to her car or helping his parents or things of that nature. Instead, they're putting some of their parents to death. Read.
And the base against the honorable.
Now we got base nations ruling over us, right? But I want you to jump down to the point. Jump down to verse 12. What's going to be the end resolution of all of this?
Verse 12. As for my people.
As for the Israelites.
Children are their oppressors.
That's who's oppressing us through gangs and violence and drug trafficking in our neighborhoods. Come on.
And women rule over them.
Who's ruling over them?
And women rule over them.
That's who's having their voices heard.
That's Mammy.
Right. That's who's right now. Who Trump going at? He not going at the black man. He going at the black woman right now on social media, right? Because she's who's having the voice out there. Women is ruling over us. That's not their rightful place. That's the point. Read.
O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy past.
So now, the way your past been destroyed, right? The black man destroyed, black woman destroyed. Jump down to verse 16.
Verse 16. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty.
They're what?
Are haughty.
I'm an independent woman. I could get it on my own. I could do bad all by myself. Read.
And walk with stretched forth necks. And wanton eyes.
And what?
And wanton eyes.
That's that lustful eyes. She sees something, she goes sleep with him. That's what we saw with the teacher. That's the end result. Read.
Walking and mincing as they go. And making a tinkling with their feet.
They gadding abroad the place. That's what we're reading right now in the article. That's that Jezebel spirit. But why? The mighty man has been destroyed, been moved out the way. Go ahead.
All praises, all praises. Let's go back and finish that. The last line, it says, the image.
The image eased the consciences of white men.
You see that? The image of this woman, this black woman in this condition, eased their lewd and lascivious conscience. Go ahead.
By suggesting.
By what?
By suggesting that black women asked for the treatment they received.
Now the black woman willingly gives herself over to the black man. Go ahead, read these four.
Or to the white man. Hey, that's
to
scandal.
the white man. I'm sorry.
That's scandal right there.
Right.
That's whole thing.
Absolutely.
Serena
Go ahead.
Williams.
These four.
These four images betrayed the whites' discomfort with their own attitudes toward their slaves. Relations to gender conventions. Each image represented a caricature of attributes that whites celebrated in themselves. Each emphasized physical attributes over social. As if
you see that? Emphasize the physical attributes over the social, like with the butt. All of these caricatures, all of these roles that they have fought hard to shape us into. Go ahead.
As if whites had difficulty depicting their slaves in adult gender roles.
They don't even see us as mature people. Go ahead.
In many instances, slaveholders did recognize their dependents as women and men with distinct personalities, but they had difficulty in recognizing them as social beings.
And that's going on even to this day. Now, I want you to get that other one, the green one. The green, there it is. Let's read that, the part in green. And then I got a video.
The law did hold masters accountable for what it defined as wanton murder, but not for accidental deaths and assuredly not for sexual assault.
We just read that. Under the law protected the so-called white man during slavery for any abuse he created, he perpetuated against our mothers. Go ahead.
By the late 1850s, some jurists, theologians, and uncommonly conscientious masters were beginning to worry about the total lack of legal protection for slave women.
You see that? There was no protection for our foremothers. Go ahead.
As women, and were beginning to argue that the rape of slave women should be regarded as a crime.
So this is part of the lewdness of America. Our foremothers was getting raped. We don't have time, but we'll post it on the website. But you had the slave master, you had the slave master's son, you had the overseer, and you even had the black drivers. All had access to the slave woman with no regard of being.
They had to fight for it to be a crime.
Right.
That goes into Zechariah 11:5. They hold themselves not
guilty.
And then because they have brainwashed them to think that they should act in this way, that's why they say only God can judge me.
Right.
Only God could judge me. And who is that God? White Jesus.
Right. Go ahead. But convention
and attitude alike militated against a serious hearing for their views. White male sexual power followed naturally upon white male social power, oppressing both white ladies and black slaves, however unequally.
Now, wait a minute. That's why when the white woman wants to rise up against her man, she'll call the black woman to join forces with her.
Yeah, she'll go get numbers.
Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Because she'll be like, we have the same enemy, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But white ladies often displaced their anger at the husbands who protected them onto the slave women who their husbands' power entitled them to bully.
You see what the husband doing? The slave master was bullying the black woman. Go ahead. And when we say black woman, it's the Hispanic woman too, because you was getting the same, if not worse, treatment than the so-called black woman was getting.
That's kind of like what 12 Years a Slave, when she really hated the sister because the slave master loved her more than the wife.
Right.
He kept smacking her around.
Well, that first article is how they being bullied right now.
Yeah.
They still being bullied.
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead. Slave women's
husbands, legally not husbands at all.
Because remember, we read earlier that marriage was not regarded as a law amongst us. Go ahead.
Lacked any power to defend their wives, short of placing their own lives at high risk. Slave women's freedom from the legal domination of their own men assured that in most instances they would confront the power of their masters alone. The lack of legal guarantees, however, did not preclude slaves from developing intense loyalty to their masters or to their mates, and even a deep commitment to the substance of marriage in the absence of its forms.
So now, I want to pull up, we didn't get a chance to hit on music and the effect of music, but I want to pull up the lyrics. Give me the lyrics to the Whisper song that I sent y'all earlier. But this is some of the effects of the lewdness in America and through our music, and how we, even as so-called black men in America, have taken that same stance that the white man had towards our women, and we've projected it on our women as well. All right, read that. This is America.
Olivia, lost and turned out. The Whispers. Olivia the slave got distracted on her way to grandmother's house. A wolf in nice clothing came.
You see that? A wolf in nice clothing came. Go ahead.
Blew her mind and changed her ways. And now she turned. Lost and turned out. Lost and turned out. She's spending most of her time walking the streets. She has a certain quota to fill. He wants to buy a new Seville.
You see that? She got so many men that she got to sleep with and bring money back to supply his lifestyle. Right? Go ahead.
Olivia the slave got distracted on her way to grandmother's house. A wolf in nice clothing came, blew her mind and changed her ways.
You got that scripture?
I got you.
Okay.
Sirach chapter 11 verse 2.
Uh-huh.
Commend not a man for his beauty, neither abhor a man for his outward appearance.
You see that? So because he was dressed nice, he was able to stop her just long enough to spit game and seduce her. Go ahead.
And now she turned, lost and turned out.
Go ahead. Scroll down.
Lost and turned out.
Here's the part. Go ahead.
What is the world coming to? So many are used and abused. There's over 10 million girls who are alone in this world. What will your kinfolk say? Olivia the slave. It must be breaking their hearts in two. Listen close, they're calling you.
So, now, we wanted to show our people just a little bit of the effects of the lewdness in America, the sexual laws in America, how these things are affecting us. Let's get one last one about the communication, filthy communication in 1 Corinthians. And then we're going to close out the show. You have been tuned into the Lion's Den radio show. We're on from 6 to 8:30 every Sunday, where we do not ignore evil. We seek to expose it. You got that last scripture?
Yeah, I got you. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
So don't be deceived. Evil communication. And as we referred to earlier, this is the flood that you read about in the Bible, where we're being inundated by all this lewd and wicked and lascivious behavior. And that's what a lot of our people have been caught up into. But what must you do? As Acts 3 and 19 says, you must repent. Okay? You must repent and keep God's laws. So with that, we say shalom, Israel. You've been tuned into the Lion's Den.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Here at Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom.
Listen, I'm tired of dealing with all these problems. I know that. Look, I got way too much on my plate right now. Yeah. Listen, hey, I'm gonna have to call you back. Yeah, hello? Ad on the bench sign here at the bus stop. It says make Israelite great again.
We have a school in Orlando, Florida at 5380 Silver Star Road. You can call us at 855-484-42 extension 707. If you want to see more advertising, please donate at iuic.orlando@israelunite.org through PayPal. Thanks again for your support. Shalom.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.